Elizabeth Arden cream.
This one's wife. Oh, shut up. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Naturally, as a consequence of this one's wife and Harry going on their faux royal tour, they feel it's necessary to share with the world their wisdom. This is always an excellent opportunity to be reminded of the dim-wittedness of Harry and the narcissistic word salad that's invariably spouted by his wife. They attended a summit on digital responsibility. Let's learn what the gruesome twosome had to tell us. First of all, Harry spoke. He explained by hitting out at online disinformation. He warned what happens online within a matter of minutes transfers to the streets. Speaking in Bogota at a summit on digital responsibility, not something him or his wife would know anything about, Harry said of the spread of false information via artificial intelligence and social media, "People are acting on information that is not true." The warning on the first day of the tour of Colombia by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex did not name specific social media platforms, but Harry's comments follow criticism of the tech billionaire and owner of X, Elon Musk, and social media platforms after the far-right riots in the United Kingdom. Addressing experts at the summit, who no doubt were sat there asking themselves, why on earth are we listening to anything that this ginger dandelion has to say? It was staged in part by Harry and this one's wife's Archwell Foundation. Harry said in comments reported by the BBC, "In an ideal world, those with positions of influence would take more responsibility." Yeah, how about starting with yourself, Harry? You have a degree of influence. You could influence members of the Sussex squad to rein in their online vitriol towards your sister-in-law, but oh, you didn't. No, instead, you did nothing. You could perhaps cause them to rein in their behaviours with regard to their unpleasant comments about your brother. But you didn't, because, of course, what you're talking about is basically this. In an ideal world, those with positions of influence would ensure that me and my wife weren't criticised. That's what he actually meant to say. He explained, for as long as people are allowed to spread lies, abuse, harass, then social cohesion as we know it has completely broken down. Whilst, of course, online behaviour is problematic, it is naturally something that sticks in the craw to have somebody such as Harry telling people about this when he has engaged in the spreading of incorrect information through what he's written in spare. Admittedly, he didn't do so online. And also that we know that his wife regularly tells porcupines as a consequence of her revisions of history, and she and he do nothing to rein in their supporters. Once again, the dim-witted one demonstrates his hypocrisy as he tells people things that they don't need to know, all in the name of making an appearance. But what about his wife? Naturally, if Harry got hold of the microphone, she has to do so. Remember, her narcissism is propelling her to issue her brilliant fridge magnet platitudes to the world to ensure that everybody knows what she has to say, because whatever she has to say is clearly pioneering, unique and brilliant. Let's have a look at a bit of the footage coming forth from this one's wife as she shares the slops of her delinquent mind.
Parents. Maybe your grandmother used to say it too also. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But what's happened? The digital age has almost created a culture where if you don't have anything cruel to say, don't say anything at all. And that is fundamentally changing how we move through the world, how we connect with each other. And I think, as we continue with this work, we continue learning and investing and grant giving to young adults who can be change makers and are being change makers in this space. A lot of it also is how we as adults role model that behavior, how we role model offline, and certainly how we role model online. As parents, we have that responsibility. As global citizens, we have that responsibility. But as digital citizens, we have that responsibility to model how we want our children to be raised in the world in which we want them to be raised in, which now includes the digital world. It's not going away, so it's how we can use what we know and continue to push the envelope to keep all of us safer, specifically our children.
You might have taken a momentary nap as a consequence of listening to that drivel, as we were told about role modelling and global citizens and digital citizens and change makers and pushing the envelope. Fuck me. Utterly meaningless, isn't it? Utterly meaningless. But in her mind, she is making the Gettysburg Address. She's JFK talking to Berliners. She is Martin Luther King with his I Have a Dream speech. Think that I'm joking? I'm not. In the twisted mind of this one's wife, she truly believes whatever she has to say is utterly meaningful. And there we have another example of an individual who was a mediocre actress who has nothing meaningful to tell the world, being given a platform and talking drivel. Hilariously, she talks about the necessity of role models being offline and online. I see. So she suggests that people, and she sees herself as a role model, so that's a role model that goes around engaging in elder abuse, is it? And an individual that doesn't rein in her supporters when they attack members of her family. This is a role model who hasn't bothered with her ailing father for a number of years, who hasn't bothered with her half-siblings. This is the woman that's repeatedly facing allegations of bullying staff, young children. This is an individual who engages in going on national television and telling porky pies about other people, claiming that people were racist when in actual fact they were not. What a fantastic role model. Hello, I'm your role model for your forthcoming years. Here's what you need to do. Play the race card, even though you really don't identify as being black. What you need to do is just get some bronzer. Ensure that you grift. You need to make such a little go a very long way. Tell porky pies. Nobody's going to check, and if they do, well, just claim that they're being a hater, and therefore it won't count. Most of all, claim to be a feminist, claim to be an empowered feminist, but always use men to get to what you need. Specifically, if you can, try and find a dim-witted member of the royalty to marry, control him, make a life of misery, and live off the back of it ever since. Brilliant role modelling there, this one's wife. Once again, we witness not only the beige word salad that comes spilling from her flapping mouth, but also the errant hypocrisy of this woman, which of course will never ever change, because she's incapable of witnessing the nonsense that she spouts and realising that she's an atrocious role model, but is never going to stop commentators such as myself from having the opportunity to not only point out the hypocrisies and the empty, vacuous nature of what she has to say, but also to demonstrate that she is far from a role model, and the best thing that the two of them could really do would be to shut up. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.